Transformers, more than meets the eye. Autobots wage their battle to destroy the evil forces of the...
Hello everybody, this is Toys R Us, and for this top 10 countdown, this time we're going to be looking at this year's special edition figures. So these are figures that have been released under the Generation Selects, things like this, the Special Golden Disc, Hasbro Pulse exclusives, things like that. This is again in response and in answer to the people who've asked for me to do it. So we've done obviously a top 10 of all the figures at retail. So this is top 10 figures which weren't at everyday retail, but you could still get them. So first disclaimer is Unicron is not included in this, purely because you still can't really get him. All of these figures you can order. Yes, you might need to get a Hasbro Pulse or Amazon, but you can still get these. They're readily available, shall we say. Second one, again, it's a disclaimer, this is just a bit of fun for me. It's just my opinion, and I'll give you why my opinion, but it doesn't really mean anything. And the third is it could have been greatly different as well if we have had Artfire, but Artfire hasn't made his way over to UK shores yet, and I don't have mine, so could have been different. Same as always, I've got a few little figures who just didn't make it, and I'll give you the reasons for them. One, which I might as well start with, has definitely been there before, which was Buzzworthy Bumblebee, and I'm just going to skate over him because of the other countdown he was in. He could have been so good, but 3 different colours of yellow and in alt mode, and the black showing through, just for me, it just ruined it. It really did. It just ruined it. And then Hasbro wouldn't take him back either, because basically they're all the same, aren't they? So yeah, that ruined it for me slightly. Next one is Road Rage. These aren't all in order, by the way. These are just here. The front couple are, yeah, just so I could take them away. Road Rage, she was a great idea. She's a great figure. She uses the tracks mold that I really liked. And character-wise, again, I don't know too much about her, but it could have been so much better. The problem I've got with her is that they didn't fix any of the issues, and in fact, she's worse than tracks for me. So yeah, they let themselves down with that, to be honest. And it was a couple of pound more because it was coming from Hasbro Pulse rather than just, again, a standard normal retail release. So you paid that little bit more money for a bit of a premium, and unfortunately worse than tracks. So definitely didn't make it for that reason. And funnily enough, this is the next figure as well. There's 2 more that didn't make it. One is Jackpot, and I was really excited about this figure. I think the figure's great. The head is horrendous. I think the figure's great. I think the concept's great. I think the idea of getting Action Masters, deluxe size figures, having them actually transform is fantastic. I think his colour scheme works brilliant. Sights looks good. Even the blast effect, I'm really impressed with this, and this is how I display him. But I think that head, the hideous head, I can't put him in the top 10 for that reason. If he'd have had a perfect head, he would have definitely been quite high up in the top 10. But for that reason, I just can't put him in there. And I hope some of you agree with that. I don't understand. It's terrible, isn't it? Again, if you want to see any videos on all of these, which I've got here, they've all got their own individual videos as well, so you can see them in a bit more detail. The next one who just missed out is Transmutate, and it's nothing against her, another her. It's purely because, in fact, you know what? These figures, again, I wasn't into the fossilizers until I got Skelevor, which I didn't put in because I've already got Megatron coming up in a minute. I've just given one away already. But didn't really think much of them, wasn't interested in them at all, and again, had a bit of a play with them, and they are a bit of fun. But this one's colour scheme just works brilliantly, and I love the fact, especially some of the fan-made modes, TF fan page did some great modes of her as well, and she just didn't make it just because of that, for that reason for me. If I'd have been into Beast Wars, I'm sure she'd have been straight up at the top, but I've mentioned that Beast Wars, I've missed that, and I do really need to get into that and catch up with that. So moving on to my top 10 now. Top 10 is Covert Agent Ravage. And as I said, I'm trying to get Transmutator to stand up here. That's what I'm trying to do. There you go. Covert Agent Ravage. And as I said in my previous video, that I've been completely swayed by these Beast figures this time around, this year. And this figure, again, price, yeah, understand, bit expensive for what it is, but it's so good, and the transformation process is beautiful as well. It's so good. Again, there's a separate video of that if you want to have a look at it, and it's just a cool figure. So he snuck in at number 10, and yeah, he stands up on that shelf there with the rest of the Beast figures I've got, looking really good. And I love the fact, you put the guns on the holsters on the hips as well. Little things like that make a big difference. So we're going to keep you there. Then we're going to go down to, it does look like they're in order, but they're not. He's not going to stand. Oh yes, he is. is the Sparkler Seeker. Now, he just missed out on my top 10 of the year purely because of how many versions of this mold we've got. But obviously, if we're talking special figures in their own category, it's got to go in there. It's got to go in there. Look at it. It's just the sly look on his face is brilliant. I don't know if it'll zoom in or focus on it. The whole concept behind it for me, again, is brilliant. I love the fact that they've gone way off script with something like this. And as I said before, I know it's just another excuse to sell another figure, but for me, well, I brought it straight away. As in, brought the figure and I brought the concept. I really like it. Just a clever idea. Right. Then we're going to go to, funnily enough, which was the very next one anyway, which is Megatron. And I keep saying this, I love this figure. I do. I think it's amazing. It's the best, what's the word I'm after? Not incantation, but the best version of Megatron since the G1, in my opinion. It looks so good. The silver paint scheme. This is the Netflix version, by the way. This is the Netflix version in the spoiler pack. The paint apps look fantastic. I can't think of the word. Is it incarnation? Yeah, it might be incarnation. I should know that word. Of him. And he would have been a lot higher again if we hadn't have had so many Megatrons. But he definitely deserves to be inside this one's top 10. And again, you can still get him. And in fact, he's quite cheap. He's quite cheap now. I'm gutted. He's about half the price that I paid initially. Right. Moving down to number 7, and funnily enough, he's right at the front. But again, another Netflix exclusive of deep cover, and again, paint apps, brilliant. Look at that, damage on the back of the windscreen. Yeah, Generation Select's version of him anyway as well. But the fact that they went straight in with a Netflix version of him as well. Yes, it's a side swipe mold, and we've got loads and loads of them, but I think the colour scheme and I think how he displays is brilliant. Right. Here we go then. Next one, G2 Ramjet. So this was Generation Select, and look at it, it's nuts. And I love things like this, and that's why I loved J Balvintron as well. I just love the colour schemes. I think they're crazy. It just really works. His transformation process works really well as well. Yes, he's a Seeker, but he's not your standard Seeker mould. And I know they've used it obviously on the standard Ramjet, etc. But just great. And he's got his cone head as well. Yeah, colour scheme for me, I think, was what sold it for me. You can go there. Next, funnily enough, is Golden Disc Mutant Tigertron. I was really skeptical when I saw this, or when I first saw, again, we still haven't got the normal Tigertron in the UK. And funnily enough, when I did one of my little news feeds video, and I mentioned that what I'd read, I mentioned that Tigertron was going to be a new mould and a Voyager class figure, and somebody commented, they literally put clearly just a Cheetor remold, basically, and then spammed me everywhere, panned me, brother, is the correct words. But then, unfortunately enough, we did find out that it was a completely different, bigger mould. Yes, the transformation process is very similar, but yeah, what a figure. This is brilliant. And he is so much bigger, like I showed in the video. He's so much bigger than the other beast and the normal Cheetor. And he's really good. And again, yeah, he had to be up there. Again, crazy colour schemes, crazy concept, crazy idea. And he's in at number 5. So the next one's going to be pretty obvious, I think, with people who know me know the channel already. But number 4 is going to be Puffer. These Golden Disc collections, we weren't even supposed to have them this year. They've ended up coming out so early. Great fit. We still haven't got pipes either, by the way. We've still not got pipes in this country. So this was nice for me to see what he was like. And I've got a special thing for the original Puffer anyway. I managed to track one of him down this year. And so as soon as I saw this, first I thought it was a joke. I was like, there's no way they're going to release a figure called Puffer. But they did, and he's in my hands, and he uses the Huffer stroke pipes mould, which I love, which I've mentioned before, and he's got to go there. Which, of course, means that at number 3 is Road Ranger. And I wouldn't think that he was overtake Puffer, but for the reasons that I've said in the other video, colour scheme again, brilliant. They should have made him a Decepticon, though, because with his colour scheme, standing next to Nemesis Prime and all that, he just looks brilliant. The translucent red at the back, I just really like it. I just really like this figure. I don't need to go on about it much more, apart from the fact saying that I really like him. And the next 2, you can borderline see him in the back. Again, this guy would have won if it wasn't for the other guy I'm about to show you, a late entry. Love him. Punch, Counterpunch. So this is from the Galactic Odyssey set that came with Barricade, which was, of course, just a redeco stroke retool of Prowl, I think. But this figure blew me away. Still gutted. I'm still trying to hunt down the version of him from the Prime Wars trilogy, which is just a slightly darker edit of him. But I love him, and it's brilliant. The fact that, again, if you have a look at the video, the 2 different robot modes are fantastic. You know, it's not just a case of, with the old one, you just flick the visor over. There's a couple of other little things that you do. You do just flick the visor over, but maybe I'm biased towards this character, but he's amazing. And then the last one, and you would have guessed this if you've seen the other top 10s, was this guy, because he just came out of nowhere. And there's a reoccurring thing here. If it's got a crazy colour scheme, if it looks mental, and again, this mould, this figure is just stunning. It's easily the best Galvatron mould that we've had, in my opinion. It's better than the classics, it's better than the Henkai, which is pretty much the same, obviously, but it's just brilliant. It looks so good, it looks menacing, it's weighty, it's robust, it's sturdy. And again, unfortunately, this was a Hasbro Pulse exclusive, but again, it is still available, so that's why I wanted to do this. If any of you are on the fence about this figure, and it's worth it. The rest of the stuff that comes with it, all the little figures, they're not that great at all. I said that in the video. They actually fall out of the bag. They're not that great. But this figure, no matter where you put him, you know, if you've got friends who aren't into Transformers, if they'll come round, they'll guarantee they'll pick this up and they'll look at it and be impressed. You've got to be. It's that good. So there we go. There is another top 10 as asked for you guys. So I hope you enjoyed this one. Getting close to New Year now, so I'll say it on this video and I'll say it again a bit later on. So Happy New Year to everybody. Thank you very much for watching, and of course, take care.
Thanks for watching. Like and comment, and don't forget to subscribe.